I'll start with Coconut Road. This is entrance concept 1. There's a few differences between 1 and 2, but Coconut Road is here to your left, just to orient you. One of the most striking things you'll notice on this plan is that we introduced the decorative paver at Coconut, carry it through the gatehouse area, all the way through the Rosedale intersection. This way, you create that statement. You usher the visitor in, rather than just a small piece here and a small piece here. It carries one through. Also notice that the pedestrian pathway would be pavers as well, all the way to the Rosedale Drive intersection. The landscaping itself would be simplified with one expression with Phoenix Sylvester Palm, which would go down the center median all the way to the gatehouse, with no dense mass of oak trees and taller shrubs to disrupt that view, that sense of entry. Additionally, significant annual plantings would remain, much like you have today, and even be enhanced further to provide color as that primary accent. I'll walk through some of the other features of this design, kind of on a case-by-case basis, starting with the existing sign and modifications that might happen. The existing sign on this concept, we thought it might be nice to include a water feature element off of the left side of the sign. So as you look at it, the fountain would be over here on the left. If you recall, this existing sign has the primary sign with two columns to the left, the east and west, connected with decorative metal fencing. In this concept, we would actually remove the top of the sign and reshape and proportion it to have a classic sweep, and the pilasters would have a smaller cap relative to their size, a recessed panel precast look, precast for the caps, and a more dramatic look to the material. It's a porcelain tile, something with more richness of color. The feature, rather than having just architectural pilaster columns to the outside, we would introduce a pilaster with decorative bulb that could be planted with annual color cascading ivy. The same idea would be the center point of the fountain itself, with medallion features that would spill water out from either side, and cascade jet display surrounding it, cascading to a 3/4 circle pool. This fountain, though subtle, would be within 30, 40 foot different distance of the road and be integral with the sign but provide an interest feature. So this was something that we felt it was an opportunity we felt would be nice to explore. Looking to the west, we discussed a secondary sign. Notice the similar shape and form with the simplified, more classically detailed elements. This pilaster and bowl would be a slightly smaller scale, and the sign in general would be a little slightly smaller. As really a secondary sign, it would go in composition with the existing sign modified, but be a little less grand. The primary feature of this design, and you'll see the other design as well, is a simulated bridge that would occur in the center of the road. We would excavate the lakes in to the edge of the road on both the east and the west. Currently there's a landscape separation of maybe 30, 40 feet. In this idea, the water would come right up to the edge of the road. We would create a bridge effect. The sides of the bridges would have a pilaster look. The ends of the bridge would be punctuated with that pilaster in bowl, so that landscape feature repeats that you saw in the signs. Pilasters also would cross the bridge with a decorative metal rail, decorative lighting to create the sense of a bridge. Though this sketch shows this bridge flat, we would propose elevating this area, maybe a 4-foot climb and fall, so that you have the sense of crossing a bridge. It's really a causeway with land between, but the sense would be of crossing a bridge. In the center median, this would be the Sylvester palm. What we suggest as the new signature palm foreshadow relates to the medjool, but it has a little slower growth rate and a little smaller scale, distinctively different look and color. We would also do the large pilaster ball elements in the center of the bridge, in this vicinity here between the medjool palms. Again, emphasizing the fact of going through a space as you climb and fall, these garden elements are there. The road, as you enter, has a distinct bend in it at this intersection. We felt this was a wonderful opportunity for a feature of some kind to connect the dots. You come in, you have a feature, you turn to the gatehouse to approach the guard staff. And what we propose is a circular fountain, approximately 20-foot diameter catch basin with elevated tile pool, a cascade jet display with these frothing cones of water, much like this image here. If you notice, you have the pilaster bowl element in the center again with scuppers that would spill out. The bowl itself would froth at the top and cascade over the whole feature. It would be a very nice element completing the picture. As far as architectural detail goes, just a quick note on the pavers. Our thought is to do maybe a traditional type brick 4x8 and herringbone for the majority of the road, but in the area of the bridge itself and in the area of the gatehouse, change modules to maybe a larger cobblestone. What this would do, we would work within the same color range, but that change in size and texture would be kind of a vibration cue to the driver as you're passing through space at the bridge, be even a traffic calming measure as you approach the gatehouse proper, and provide just a little extra detail for those particular spots. I want to call your attention to the idea of this pilaster and bowl architectural element. We would not only rescale the column pilasters on the signs, but we would develop this language of architectural elements that would repeat in the landscape. The larger pilaster and bowl, the smaller pilaster and bowl. This associated with the bridge, the smaller one associated with a few at the gatehouse and so on, providing architectural interest within the landscape. With the annual color and cascading ivy, really adding detail to the overall composition. Lastly, when we get to the intersection here, you have your welcome home sign in area with the flagpole. It's a great opportunity to have one last punctuation of planting. So we suggest that Sylvester palm coming back in a bold planting with pygmy date palms below, and 2 of the larger pilaster and bowls. This could be just a nice finishing statement as you come through, finish out the pavers, and head into the community. And it's also a nice repetition of the pygmy date that you have out here in front of the club. You also have it on the corner, planting, burn planting further in the community. Concept 2, here's Coconut Road again, is slightly different in that you'll notice the pavers, we stopped just past the gatehouse. It allows a denied visitor to do a U-turn, stay within the theme. The pedestrian path would still remain pavers to the intersection. We also introduced a landscape median on the exit lanes. One of the thoughts was to eliminate the lift arms on the exit lanes. By introducing a landscape median, this provides a further traffic calming measure with the landscaping there, the texture change of the pavers, as well as a nice aesthetic balance to what's happening on the east. One thing I neglected to mention on concept 1 was the elimination of the access to the multi-purpose building. You'll notice here in concept 2, it's shown. Depending on what happens with the multi-purpose building, we would landscape through this area, remove the access, and allow it to be from the internal portions of the community, or not. We wanted to show you kind of both ways. So if we move to the sign, you'll see similar detailing. Again, reproportioning, removing the top of the sign, the detail of the pilasters. But in this concept, this would be very much taking what's there and just reproportioning it. New pilasters, gates, different patina on the decorative metal. On the west, you'll see similarly detailed, smaller scale, but the same story of components. One of the unique features of concept 2 is illuminated lake fountains. We did a lake fountain on either side. It's a cost-effective way to introduce impact, highlight the lakes, and provide lighted features for the entrance. You notice all 3 of these elements are highlighted together because we felt that they were the most compelling parts of this design. That includes the bridge, which, by the way, would be punctuated on each corner by palm planting, which I neglected to mention in the last slide, on the lake bank. The repetition of the pilaster bowl, the signature Sylvester palm in the median with the large bowls there, the fountain at the median tip, and the welcome home landscape flagpole area, all of which we felt were compelling.